afternoon and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday.
It sure is.
And it's Siberia outside.
It is here, that's for sure. And that's what's topping our news on this Friday. We've got team coverage of the latest storm track and what the roads are like in your area.
Well, it snows here. Those lucky ducks, Adam Duxter and Melissa Kim, are in San Francisco with how the Packers and their fans are getting ready for the NFC title game. Nice Packer tie, by the way. Looking sharp. I like that.
Had to dig it out of the closet. And also the very latest on the impeachment trial of President Trump, what still needs to be done to begin the process.
Let's take a look outside today. This was the view a little earlier this afternoon from between Fenimore and Boscobel in Grant County. Wintry scene.
Yeah, the snow started there a little earlier, and it's here now, and here it is. Chris is in the backyard. Like a snow globe out there.
Yeah, it's certainly like a snow globe, and I think things are only going to continue as we go through the rest of the afternoon and into tonight. Right now, what you're looking at is a live look from our station camera. Yes, that visibility has certainly gone downhill. We're going to continue to see the limited visibility as we go through the rest of this afternoon. In fact, we're down below a quarter-mile visibility in Madison. You jump down towards Monroe, that's where that visibility is about a mile, 3/4 of a mile visibility as you work your way over towards Platteville right now, and I do believe there will be times where that visibility is down near zero. Here's that snow as it moved in, and that leading edge is where we're seeing some of the heaviest snow right now. That continues to push towards the north and east. Places like Watertown and Beaver Dam. You're going to be getting in on this as we go through the next couple of minutes to the next hour or so. That heavy band will continue to move your way. If you're going to be traveling towards Milwaukee, that heavy band of snow will continue to push towards the north and east as well. And there's more where that came from back towards the south and west. We're going to see a period of heavy snow overnight that'll lighten up at a time with a wintry mix tomorrow before another round of some snow comes in on the back side of that. But in the meantime, this is your first alert traffic, folks. The belt line right now is certainly showing you where those roads are snow covered, folks. Your commute, I'm giving you the red light for the rest of the evening as travel conditions will continue to go downhill. Not only will the snow pick up, but the winds will begin to pick up and blow things around. But in the meantime, heavy delays are certainly expected on the belt line. This goes from Middleton all the way towards the east side, and especially that stretch between Verona Road and John Nolan. Both directions, it is a parking lot right now. As you work your way downtown, it's a parking lot on a lot of those area roadways. And with all the traffic, it's going to be hard for those plows to keep up. So folks, keep this in mind as you begin to head home. You will need your patience, and you will want to make sure you drive safely as the system continues to move in. Amanda?
All right. Yeah, Chris, the parking lot you are talking about, we are in it. We are on the belt line right now, about to pass Todd Drive, but it will take us a while to get to Todd Drive because we're going under 10 miles an hour here. You could see a lot of the brake lights in front of us, but that visibility you were talking about, you can barely see maybe 6, 7 cars in front of us. So that visibility has gotten really bad. When the snow started, it was that lighter, fluffy snow, but you can tell that it's getting heavier, and it's really covering the roadways here on the Beltline. Getting onto the Beltline, that exit to get on, that on-ramp, that's where it was getting really slippery, and those side roads still very, very slippery. As I said, the snow is really covering the road out here, but people are going slow. They're kind of forced to out here. But Mark and Susan, we will stay out here and keep you guys updated throughout the show.
All right, Amanda, stay safe. Take your time, boy. Friday night and a heavy snowstorm is a bad combination.
Yeah, be careful out there. And there's another major story we're following this afternoon.
Officers in Boscobel are reopening the roads near Elm Street in the city as a standoff comes to an end. Our Gabriella Becerra is live there, where she's also following the deteriorating road conditions. Gabriella?
Mark and Susan, I'm in front of a house where police have been investigating all day an incident of somebody barricading themselves inside the house. And now the scene still appears to be active with police presence. Officials on scene are unable to share any new details as of right now, including if the person inside was armed or had any other people with them. Police first responded just after 10 this morning. and the snow is really starting to come down and affecting Grant County, and it's happening pretty quickly. Take a look at this video that we took earlier today on our way down here. This video was taken just about 30 minutes ago, and since then the roads have become considerably worse. The 61 coming into Boscobel was completely snow covered and visibility was extremely low. We saw a plow go by already trying to clear parts of the road. And if you're traveling on these roads tonight, please take extreme caution, and we will have another weather update for you coming up in News 3 Now at 5.
All right, Gabby, thank you. She's live in Boscobel.
Thank you, Gabriella. We are now just 2 days away from the NFC Championship game.
If the Packers win, they are in the Super Bowl. But to get there, they'll need to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Our Adam Duxter made it to the Bay Area last night and joins us live from Fisherman's Wharf. Hi, Adam. Any Packers fans out there?
Yeah, believe it or not, surprisingly, we haven't seen all too many Packers fans out here on Fisherman's Wharf just yet. We think maybe they're over with you guys back in the snow trying to get on a flight and get out here to this nice, warm, beautiful weather. What's that? Something about snow back in Wisconsin? I'm just messing with you guys. But we have seen plenty of 49ers fans, including, take a look at these guys. These dogs are so cute, and we caught up with them earlier today. They've got their snow goggles on, and they've also got their bandanas with the 49er pride, and they're actually here being trained for obedience and interacting with folks that are out and about. And their owner says they're excited for the game this weekend too.
They're showing a little love for the Niners.
Yeah.
Some of them are Raiders, you know, but they support the local teams. They'd rather see it at home than at somebody else's house.
Now, the dogs aren't the only ones attracting attention out here on Fisherman's Wharf. Overall, we can tell there's just a very big sense of excitement for the game this weekend. And, gee, I got to tell you guys, it's almost too warm out here. I think I might have to take off my jacket at some point and just go down to the polo because it's just so dang nice, you know? It's like 60 degrees and sunny. I'm serious. If I keep going, you guys probably won't let me back in the state of Wisconsin. But, hey, if we do have Packers fans here, we'd love to connect with you. We'll be here live at 5 and 6 as well.
Oh, it looks beautiful out there. Have fun. We need to get some green and gold goggles for those pups,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
That was really cute. Adam Duxter reporting live. Adam, thank you.
Well, after a ceremonial start, the impeachment trial of President Trump resumes Tuesday. But before opening arguments can start, senators must finalize the rules. Natalie Brand has the latest from Capitol Hill.
They go into the Oval.
Impeachment was on President Trump's mind during a White House visit with LSU's championship football team.
We'll take pictures behind the Resolute desk. It's been there a long time, a lot of presidents, some good, some not so good. But you got a good one now. Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that?
Earlier Friday, the president added new members to his impeachment defense team, including Kenneth Starr, the independent counsel in the investigation that led to President Clinton's impeachment. Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi and Alan Dershowitz, who was part of O.J. Simpson's dream team, will also argue on behalf of President Trump. Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, will not be part of the team. It's Giuliani's former associate, indicted businessman Lev Parnas, who says he was the person entrusted to pressure Ukraine to investigate the Bidens, and he claims the president knew all about it.
I should be their number one witness because I'm the one that got all the dirt.
Before opening arguments can begin, senators must still vote on the rules of the impeachment trial, and they're expected to debate whether new witnesses should be heard.
Right now, we're just asking for 4 witnesses who have unique information about the president holding back aid to a foreign country.
Republicans say it's not the Senate's job to retry the case.
The job is to respond to what we've been given in the case that was built by the House.
But a few Republican senators have signaled they might be open to witnesses after hearing opening arguments first. While it only takes a simple majority to set the rules, it would take a supermajority, or 67 senators, to remove the president from office. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will preside over the Senate impeachment trial. CBS News will have live coverage.
Nearly a dozen American troops were injured when Iran launched missiles at a pair of Iraqi military bases on January 8th. The Pentagon has revised its casualty assessment after Iran's retaliatory missile strike on 2 bases in Iraq. It was initially reported that no U.S. troops were killed or injured, even though the bases took several direct hits. And it's what President Trump said the next day.
In last night's attack by the Iranian regime, we suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe.
But now U.S. Central Command says 11 service members suffered concussions in the attacks. They were removed from Iraq for treatment. 8 went to Germany, the others to Kuwait. Each is being monitored for signs of traumatic brain injury and other symptoms.
Massachusetts police say an Amber Alert and a sharp-eyed motorist helped police find the kidnapper of an 11-year-old girl. This dramatic video shows the moments a Massachusetts couple chased down a car they recognized from an Amber Alert. The driver kidnapped Charlotte Mosia Wednesday as she was walking home from school. Benny Correa and his wife Amanda followed the car while calling 911. The license plate number they got helped police track down 24-year-old Miguel Rodriguez and Mosia, who appeared to be unharmed. She told police he had pointed a knife at her and told her if she screamed or tried to escape, he would kill her.
I pulled up against his driver door and I flashed my high beams. That's when he pulled his jacket up and hit his face.
This was an absolute life and death situation for this little girl.
Police say this surveillance video from the day before Mosia was kidnapped shows her walking home from school, trailed by Rodriguez's blue Honda Civic. Investigators say he did not know his victim. Mosia's family issued a statement thanking the community and especially the couple who chased down the car.
That is absolutely frightening.
Yeah, it really
Unbelievable.
is. I'm glad she's safe.
There's more at 4 when we come back. We all know someone who loves their shoes, right?
Yeah, but how much are they willing to spend? We'll introduce you to some people willing to spend thousands of dollars for the perfect pair. That's when Live at 4 comes back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, the sneaker industry brings in billions of dollars every year.
Some high-end footwear can go for thousands of dollars. Sneakerheads call themselves wearable art collectors, and much of that art comes with a high price. These rare limited edition Nike Mag sneakers go for $30,000. A push of the button and the shoes tighten by themselves. Industry leaders say sneakers are so profitable because their value can only be compared to art. Their worth defined by the buyer.
Its availability is one, the story behind it, and then the personal attachment. That sense of, oh man, I might not ever see this again.
Jay-Z Lopez says he was homeless 5 years ago and made $20 million last year selling sneakers. He owns stores in Las Vegas and New York. Thousands are trying to walk a mile in Lopez's sneakers and reach his level of success in an industry that shows no signs of slowing down. I spent $100. I think I'm robbing the bank.
Right.
On January 17th, 1920, 100 years ago today, America officially went dry. Prohibition, embodied in the Constitution's 18th Amendment, banned the sale, manufacturing, and transportation of alcohol.
But it was legal to drink, and alcohol was widely available throughout Prohibition, which ended in 1933. How did it affect Wisconsin, notorious for its many bars and heavy drinkers? Jim Drager is the co-author of Bottoms Up, a toast to Wisconsin's historic bars and breweries. Good to see you again. Welcome
back.
Thank you.
Thanks for braving the weather to get out here today.
It's exciting.
So what was the thinking behind Prohibition?
Well, Prohibition really grew from an attempt to try to address the problems that were related to people consuming a lot of alcohol. Before Prohibition, people drank about 3 times as much alcohol as people do today. So it was a very significant problem, and there weren't the kind of social safety nets that help people with that were affected by drinking that there are today. So really the movement for Prohibition began in the church and was largely driven by women who were seeing the problems that related to their husbands and overconsumption.
So what were all the domino effects once the amendment went into place?
Well, you know, probably the biggest effect was after Prohibition was passed, the 4th largest industry in Milwaukee shut its doors and thousands of people were put out of jobs. All of the people who worked in taverns, who owned taverns, they were all put out of work. People who owned liquor stores. It was a pretty significant shock to the economy. There were about 2,000 bars just in Milwaukee alone before Prohibition that all went dark.
Wow.
Wow, and it eventually led to some unsavory characters, right?
It sure did.
Organized crime really picked up here.
Yes, one of the big consequences of Prohibition was organized crime took off. And one of the other ones was ordinary people became criminals for trying to buy liquor.
And organized crime's fingers made its way into Madison, didn't it?
Oh, they sure did. In every city in the state, and Wisconsin was part of the bootleg network with planes flying in from Canada carrying booze that was then brought in by car down to the larger urban markets.
Who was the governor at the time?
The governor was John Blaine at the time. He signed an act called the Severson Act that was the state's prohibition law. And ironically...
He had a unique role in this, didn't he?
Yes, ironically, he became a senator, and when he came to the Senate, he introduced the legislation to repeal the 19th Amendment and make liquor legal again.
And it repealed mostly because of the Depression?
Part of it was that, but I think it was widely recognized that it was an experiment that failed.
Didn't work.
Yeah, and it was actually women who led the effort for the repeal of Prohibition because they saw all of the problems with organized crime and other issues related to it, and they said, this just is not working.
1933.
1933, correct.
Failed experiment. All right, Jim, interesting.
Jim, great to see you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pick up Jim's book, too. It's a very good read, yeah.
And careful driving home.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Great
out.
to see you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
There's more to come at 4. We're continuing to follow the winter storm moving through much of the area.
And then coming up, we'll share how much more snow we can expect. And wow, you can't see a thing out of the tower cam. Look at that. We'll let you know when this will all wrap up. We'll check in with Chris Reese when we come back.
For reliable weather day in and day out, watch First Alert Weather.
Take a look at this. Insane video from Italy shows a person narrowly escaping a massive landslide. You can see the pedestrian holding a blue umbrella and then disappearing out of the shot. Moments later, an enormous wave of mud and rocks slams into the area. Local officials later reported that the person in the video managed to survive the landslide, and they're hoping the terrifying video will teach others to always heed alerts issued by authorities.
Yes, boy, wild weather everywhere, and that's not the only close call we have. On video today.
Yeah, that's right. Watch an 18-wheeler lose control.
Yikes.
It's been 180 degrees on a snowy Maine highway. A state trooper was responding to a separate incident when it happened. The truck's driver is seen applying the brakes, and then he loses control. Now, after spinning around and slamming into a guardrail, the truck comes to a rest. No one was injured in the incident, but this is a good reminder to slow down and to stay off of snowy roads altogether.
And that's what's going through the minds of the people in that car.
Frightening, absolutely frightening. And the snow tonight came in so fast, it was almost like somebody flipped a switch.
It came in with a vengeance. We went to from nothing to seemingly whiteout conditions almost immediately. I think that continues. I have that full first alert forecast coming up right after this break. I'm breaking it all down, so don't go anywhere.
What are we supposed to be looking at here?
We are looking at the Edgewater Sky camera. Folks, the heavy snow has moved in. This is the Beltline at Todd Drive right now. Already that snow starting to accumulate on the area highways, and the Beltline will continue to become a parking lot. So when it comes to your commute, as we go through the next 4 hours, I'm putting the red light on for each individual hour because we're going to continue to see the heavy snow along with the wind. In fact, that wind is going to be increasing. So just try not to be out and about if you can help it, because things are going to continue to go downhill. Here's what we're watching right now. We've seen this heavy band of snow already work its way in towards Madison, especially the northeastern part of the county right now is where we're seeing some of that heaviest snow. Cottage Grove up towards Sun Prairie and then back over towards Waunakee. You were getting in on what has moved through southwestern Madison, really creating the problems that you see on the Beltline. This line continues to move towards the north and east. So places like Watertown and Beaver Dam, odds are that snow is not reaching the ground just yet because a lot of this is virga, but it is going to in a matter of minutes. Check it out, 438. That's when we'll likely start to see the snow work its way towards Beaver Dam. That'll be in Fond du Lac by the time we get you towards a little before 5:30. So this continues to push into the areas that have not seen the snow just yet. And there's more where that came from. As we look back towards the south and west, this is the heavy band of snow that we have been tracking pretty much all day long. It overperformed in parts of Nebraska and Iowa. So we're going to be watching the snowfall forecast very closely as we continue through the rest of this afternoon. But here's the system overall. That area of low pressure will move just over northern Illinois and parts of Wisconsin. By the way, this is the Edgewater sky camera. Completely whiteout conditions there shown on camera there. 24 degrees, heavy snow coming down, winds out of the south and east at 10 miles per hour as we speak. Visibility down to a quarter mile in Madison. Watertown and Juneau, that visibility is still 10 miles. That tells me that it's going to come in in a hurry, just like it did for folks down towards the south and west. Half a mile visibility in Lone Rock, Platteville up to 1 mile visibility, but Dubuque, Iowa back down to a quarter mile visibility. This is going to be what we're going to continue to see as we go through time. In fact, I have another graphic to show you that in just a moment. 5:30, we're still dealing with the heavy snow that sticks around through 8 o'clock. By the time we get you towards 11, focus on the pink starting to come in on those counties that border the state line. This is that area that I think has the best chance to see that wintry mix. That's why my snowfall totals are going to be a little bit lower as you work your way down south. By 1 o'clock in the morning, a little bit of drier air comes in. That transitions things over to a period of some freezing drizzle, but then more moisture wraps back into the system. We're going to be talking more snow by the time we get you towards the morning hours on Saturday. Also, pay attention just towards the south and east. We may get just warm enough for a little bit of rain from places like Janesville up towards Milwaukee and Kenosha. Again, this is an area where my snowfall forecast is going to be just a little bit lower. But folks, by 2:30 on Saturday, a lot of this begins to pull away, and that is when things will calm down. But the snow out there right now will be accompanied with 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, if not more. When you have the strong winds around, that begins to create issues with the visibility. 6:30, rush hour, half a mile visibility in some places. 0 mile visibility as you work your way down towards Mineral Point and Platteville. And pay attention to just how long this low visibility sticks with us. This is 10:30. We're still dealing with visibility that is less than ideal. 0 visibility by the time we get you towards 1:30 in the morning. We get you towards 7 a.m. We're still looking at visibility down towards half a mile. So it's going to be a long impact by the time we get you towards that. So major impacts in terms of driving and walking. Snowfall amounts are going to remain modest, 4 to 6 inches here in Madison, 2 to 4 inches as you work your way down towards the south. And then folks, beyond that, it is going to be the wind chills. By the time we get you towards Sunday morning, wind chills are going to be down towards 25 degrees below zero, folks. And we do have chances for more of a wintry mix by the time we get you towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, along with next Sunday. So this is just a start of an active pattern once again.
It ain't fun to drive in, but I'm sure the polar bears sure like it.
I'm sure the polar bears are having a grand time.
That's a live picture from the Henry
That is
Violet
leaked footage
Zoo.
of me right now, if I wasn't in here. So
I saw you in the weather office drying your shirt out with the blow dryer.
Yes, because I was out in the snow having a good time. One of my family members is in town right now, and he has not seen snow in a very long time, so he's really excited for today.
That's
so I'll
wonderful.
be playing in it tonight.
That's great.
Yep.
And Chris will keep us up to date on the weekend weather on the News 3 this morning.
And then stay tuned on Sunday for CBS Sunday Morning.
Mo Rocca is filling in for Jane Pauley this Sunday, and we understand you have a lot coming up on Sunday morning, including a piece on Laura Dern. Hi, Mo.
Hi, Mark. How are you? Well, for this Sunday's show, that's right, Tracy Smith sat down with actress Laura Dern, who is having a moment with big roles in Little Women and her Oscar-nominated turn in Marriage Story. This is a high point in the career of someone who, as we learn, is quite literally a child of Hollywood. Roll tape.
The Wild Angels.
If you're a real fan of biker movies, you might remember the 1966 film, The Wild Angels.
Come here.
No. And two of the wildest angels were Bruce Dern and his blonde girlfriend, Diane Ladd. Seems they were pretty close off camera, too.
You were literally conceived on a movie set.
Yes, true. 100% true. Even better on a Roger Corman biker movie. I feel very proud of that.
And Mark, I have to tell you, it's great to see her getting this recognition after a career of taking really big risks.
Absolutely. Interesting story. Didn't know that. All right, what else is on the show?
Well, we are celebrating Chinese New Year with dumplings, plus the story of artist Claude Monet, the music of Mumford & Sons, and how the Navy chose the name of a heroic ship's cook for its newest aircraft carrier.
What a variety.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
It is a lot of variety, isn't it?
It really is. I can't wait to see it. We'll see you Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Thanks, Mo.
Mark, can I ask you one question?
Sure, go ahead.
Steamed or fried?
Fried.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Great minds think alike. Yeah. We'll see you later, Mo.
Bye.
This is a live look at downtown San Francisco.
Beautiful city.
It really is spectacular. And down the road, not in San Francisco, Santa Clara, the Green Bay Packers are ready for a rematch after a disappointing loss to the San Francisco 49ers back in November.
We're continuing our coverage from San Francisco as the team prepares for the NFC title game. Our Melissa Kim is live outside Levi Stadium with a preview of this weekend's big game. Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, hi Mark and Susan. Gotta give you a sense of the weather, of course, as we always do. It's in the 50s here. I know that there's a lot of snow back in Wisconsin right now, but here it's kind of in the 50s. I've seen the native Californians, though, bundled up in like really, really warm jackets. I'm like, you guys have no idea. Anyways, we are live here outside Levi Stadium, where on Sunday we'll have a rematch between the Packers and 49ers of the game that the Packers, as you mentioned, lost earlier this season. Now, we asked both teams, does this mean this is going to be a rematch of, was it going to be the exact same result here? And both teams says you can't really look at it like that. I talked to Tremont Williams after the Seahawks, the win over the Seahawks last Sunday, and he told me you can't look at it like that because the teams are in a very different position now. They're basically two different teams from when they were back then, 6 weeks ago, to right now. And he went on to say that, it's just different personalities of the team. Actually, the defense had a meeting after that loss to the 49ers and talked about how they really have to communicate better. And we've seen the defense improve significantly since then. They've been communicating better. They've won every single game since that loss to the 49ers. And meanwhile, head coach Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the 49ers today, he said the same thing. He said that there's something very cohesive and different happening in Green Bay now to make them successful since then. So both teams saying that it's a clean slate now. Loser goes home, and the winner goes to the Super Bowl. Guys, back to you.
5:40 Sunday on Fox. You can see that. Melissa, all right, we'll see you on later newscasts. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Have fun out there.
Still to come at 4, Mamma Mia, it's Michael Bruno.
He's going backstage at Mamma Mia, produced by Verona Area Community Theater. That's when Live at 4 continues.
We do continue to watch the traffic for folks who are headed home on this Friday, and still there are several traffic impacts to talk about. This is the Beltline at Todd Drive right now. We just saw one plow be able to go through, but still it is a very slow going. We're talking heavy traffic delays. It doesn't matter which direction you're headed, from Middleton up towards Sauk City, or if you're going from Middleton towards the east over towards Monona. We are certainly seeing those delays. In fact, speeds are as slow as 8 miles per hour in some spots. So traffic is truly coming to a crawl, especially as you work your way eastbound as well. Our Amanda Quintana is live on the Beltline right now. She begins to approach Monona. Amanda, tell us what you're seeing.
Yes, Chris, well, just what you said, we have been going less than 10 miles an hour this whole time. So going, when we were headed eastbound, it took us about 30 minutes to get from Todd Drive to John Nolan. Really, really slow and go traffic here. Lots of brake lights that we're seeing. The visibility still pretty bad, but everyone is being forced to go slow. We do see some lights up ahead, might be a tow truck on the side. We've seen a few tow trucks have to pass us. So obviously it's pretty bad out here. I'm not gonna lie. The conditions are not great. And it is about to be 5 o'clock. You know, more people are going to be getting on the Beltline, and that snow just continues to cover the road. Mark and Susan, we will send it back to you.
Yeah, bad timing.
Be very careful, Amanda. Thank you. Well, here's one sweet story. It's the world's largest Snickers bar, and it really satisfied. This peanut-packed behemoth bar was unveiled in Waco, Texas. It's more than 2 feet wide, weighs 4,700 pounds, and if that's not nutty enough, it's the size of 43,000 regular Snickers bars. Guinness World Records was on hand to solidify the colossal confection as the cream of the candy crop.
Oh, I love that.
I love Snickers.
I know.
In 1975, the Swedish group ABBA topped the charts with a song called Mamma Mia. And that was turned into a Broadway jukebox musical, which debuted in 1999.
Since that debut, over 65 million people have seen the show, and it's grossed $4 billion nationwide.
And those numbers will inch up a bit because the Verona Area Community Theater is staging Mamma Mia this month. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check it out.
I work all night, I work all day to pay the bills I have to pay. Ain't it sad?
This is the really great thing about doing community theater, is that it's for everybody of all ages. But it's even greater about ABBA themselves is that they speak to every generation. No matter what you're going through and the experience that you currently are feeling, there's a song by ABBA that works to support you in your current moment.
Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world.
And did you find it interesting how you can take a bunch of unrelated songs and how they made this plot kind of meld around the songs for that?
Right, it sort of meanders its way through the ABBA song. It's sort of like an ABBA concert, really, with some story in it. But really, the ABBA songs are just a fantastic way to emphasize what's going on in the plot. And of course, I mean, I grew up dancing to ABBA, singing ABBA as well, so it's just a dream to be able to do this with a awesome band and an awesome ensemble, too.
It's a rich man's world.
There's all these talented people in the Madison area, and most adults, few other teenagers my age, and it's just crazy to be a part of such a large production between cast, crew, like everyone is so nice and so welcoming, and I'm just really thankful.
Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world.
And has there been anything like challenging or difficult?
A very specific part is during Voulez-Vous, which is their Act 1 closer. I'm walking around for a lot of it, and it's kind of turned into one of my favorite parts of the show because I'm walking around as blocking, but there's people on stage dancing. So getting hit in the face almost a lot of times during that is kind of fun.
If I had a little money, it's a rich man's world.
Why does suddenly everybody's doing Mamma Mia? It's just insane how many companies, high schools, and community theaters, it's like suddenly there's this ABBA Mamma Mia craze.
Yeah, so Mamma Mia opened on Broadway in 2001, and it has been a smash ever since. And for years and years, MTI Music Theater International was advertising that the rights were coming available. The rights were becoming available, and finally in 2018, they released the rights. So
everyone was applying. We tried 3 times before we got it. Everyone was trying to get the rights to do that musical.
And
oh, Mamma Mia, I wish I was in Greece.
I know, I love this show. You can see it 10 times and you still love it.
It really is. It's, if you ever heard one ABBA song, you'll sing it along with them. And it really is. It's a wonderful, wonderful production.
And they tell a story using the songs. That's kind of ingenious.
They really do. I mean, last time you did a jukebox musical, and you just hear hit after hit after hit. But this one, they actually weave the storyline, and it actually fits the plot around these songs. It's kind of ingenious.
They made all their own costumes?
Yeah, it's all original stuff.
Oh, that's great.
So they've tried for years to get this show here.
Well, evidently that's why there was this upsurgence of Mamma Mia. Everybody was doing it because the rights weren't being released for so long.
Yeah. They opened the floodgates.
And then when they finally released the rights, everybody that applied for it got the rights to do it. So high schools are doing it, community theaters are doing it.
Mamma Mia! Exclamation points.
Everybody's getting rich off of Mamma Mia.
Verona High School Performing Arts Center, January 17th, 18th, 23, 24, 25 at 7, January 19th at 2. vact.org/tickets.
Oh, I love that hat. You look great.
Yes, we can. We'll be matching outfits.
I had on my green dress this morning, and then I spilled a cup of coffee all over the front of it.
Oh,
so
no.
it's not easy being me.
Not easy being green either. Next week.
Next week, it's next fall. Stage Q's production at the Bartell Theater.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Next fall.
That's right. Go Packers!
Yes.
Go Pack.
Have a good weekend, Michael. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Pretty rope.
As promised, it's snowing.
It sure is. That heavy snow coming down right now. Now, we've actually seen it let up just a little bit.
Oh, we can see the Capitol.
pretty heavy. We can see the Capitol now with what's continuing to fall out there, folks. We have several more hours of this. As we go through tonight, look for those temperatures falling into the mid-20s. We might actually see a brief period where this mixes in with a little bit of sleet and some freezing rain, especially closer towards the state line. That is why my totals are just a little bit lower there. 2 to 4 inches in places like Janesville over towards Milwaukee, 4 to 6 inches as you work your way from Madison up towards Portage, Poynette, Partyville, places like that. And then as you get towards Westfield. That's where you start to get into that 6 to 7 inch range, if not a little bit more. So we're going to be watching this very closely as we go through the rest of the night.
I'd rather have snow than ice.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Same here.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, keep an eye on things
Thanks,
for us.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Monday here on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will be here. He'll tell us what he thinks of the latest incarnation of Doolittle. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4. The dead of winter, but the news hounds have come to the rescue with some heartwarming animal stories.
Lola and Louie have the top animal stories of the week in the News Hounds Now update.
It's News Hounds Now update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds, a rare pack of mountain lions.
Kachil turned 6.
And pandemonium.
A 100-year-old tortoise named Diego is being credited with saving his species. He's responsible for the fertilization of 800 offspring, saving one of the species of giant tortoise in the Galapagos Islands. Diego will return in March to his original habitat at Espanola Island, from where he was extracted more than 8 decades ago. This type of giant tortoise went from a critical state of 15, including Diego, to 2,000, thanks to the Giant Turtle Restoration Program.
Officials at the North Carolina Zoo are celebrating a new addition. They welcomed a brand new baby rhinoceros into the fold. The female white southern rhino weighed in about 100 pounds at birth. She'll grow up to be around 5,500 pounds someday. White rhinos were once hunted almost to extinction, but conservation efforts have helped raise the population. This little girl, yet unnamed, is turning out to be a crowd favorite.
Speaking of crowd favorites, one of the Brookfield Zoo's orangutans, Kachil, is celebrating his 6th birthday. In honor of the big day, animal care staff at the Chicago Area Zoo presented him with 6 little frozen cakes, each topped with fresh fruit and a celery stick instead of a candle. Kachil's foster sister also joined in the celebration. She's